channel, everyone. I'm back with another video. This one is going to be about everything I've been reading so far this year. We have some novels, some graphic novels. Not graphic novels. I haven't really read any graphic novels. I've read manga. I have some graphic novels I want to read, but I just haven't gotten to them yet, to be honest. But this is the most I've read at one time, to be honest, and we'll get into that. I'm going to talk about the books that I've read in order from when I started reading them this year. So give me 1 second. I'm going to get them ready, and we're going to get started with the book number 1. So the first book I've read this year would be James Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service by Ian Fleming. This book was gifted to me by my fiance some time ago, and there has been some wear and tear on it since I've gotten it. I do most of my reading at work, so a lot of this damage probably happened while I was in my backpack or in the little shelf that I have, like a little desk that I sit at. I just put it in there when I'm actually working, so unfortunately more scratched up than I would like it to be. But anyway, this is the book that got me to start reading at work. I realized I had a lot of extra time on my hands and I can't really be on my phone or do anything else, so in that off time I'm allowed to read. So I've read quite a bit more because of that. But yeah, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the first of 2 Bond books that I've read this year so far, and I really enjoyed it. This one, it starts off strong and it really just only gets better. Personal opinion, near the end of it, I found the climax and like the finale section of the book was just not really up to par with how good I found the rest of the book. I feel like the grand plan, the evil plan wasn't bad. The story was great. I found like the mystery of trying as Bond is uncovering what the villain is up to. Spoiler alert, I guess, for all these books, Bond is still on the hunt for Blofeld. This is a part of what's considered Ian Fleming's, I think it's Spectre trilogy, is that what it's about? Where it's about Blofeld for like 3 books. And this is one where, like I said, there's going to be some spoilers, but you can read the back if you are interested. It takes place after Thunderball, I think. I haven't read the other books. I want to get into it, but this is the only one. I've read this one in Casino Royale a long time ago, so I'm kind of filling in the blanks on the books I haven't read, but it definitely takes place after Operation Thunderball. And Bond is kind of on the hunt for Blofeld, and after some time, the trail just goes cold. This story is mostly about that, but it has, B and C plot, pretty good stuff there. Regarding Tracy and Bond wanting to leave the service, and, there's all kinds of other stuff that, you really learn about. Unfortunately, I don't want to spoil it completely if anyone plans on reading it. I don't think this isn't a book where you need to know who Blofeld is or what's going on. They do a good enough job of painting a picture of their relationship, so you don't need to have read Thunderball or anything before. In my opinion anyway, I really liked it. I would probably give this a good 9 out of 10. I really think the finale kind of wasn't incredible. Since we're already talking spoilers, I found that there's like a team of people, I'm not going to get too far into it, that Bond brings with him to help take down Blofeld's base, and they do their job. They blow up the base, they're destroying everything, and taking everyone out. And Bond is pursuing Blofeld, and he is just completely outmaneuvered. It wasn't even close. And I just found that it wasn't super interesting, him chasing Blofeld down the mountain, because this is like the second or third time that they're talking about it, so they're repeating a lot of the words and the descriptions, and it doesn't feel super interesting. I found the first chase down the mountain to be much better, much more enjoyable to read than the finale one, where they're on the bobsled. Personally, I haven't watched the movie yet, so I don't know if I would, share the same opinion with the movie as I would the book, but I just found it to be less interesting. And then, of course, big spoiler alert, Bond is to be married to Tracy. They get married, and then she is immediately murdered by one of Blofeld's people, even though in no way, shape, or form should Bond have thought they were safe. He acted like they were, and it ends on an extremely depressing note. So it kind of fell flat on its face for me. I don't need them to have a happy ending. I'm not even upset that that's how it ended. Really, I just found it to not be super interesting. So there wasn't a fun climax as far as, I just wasn't that interested in him chasing Blofeld like that. I wanted to see what happened next, not because I was excited, but because I was bored of that, personally. And then 2, he let his guard down at the time when it made the least sense to let his guard down, because he knew Blofeld was alive. He didn't think he was dead. He didn't think he got him. He knew for a fact he was alive and got away, and let his guard down, and Tracy got murdered. So it was ridiculous. Other than that, I absolutely adored this book. I really was just flying through it. In my opinion, it's still very dated. It's a very old book. I find that Ian Fleming's writing style is not for everyone, and it took some adjusting for me to really be into it personally. But here you go. Yeah, Thunderball. There's The Spy Who Loved Me, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, You Only Live Twice. Yeah. So there you go. I've read Casino Royale and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. All this in between I have not read yet. But anyway, most of the books, really fantastic stuff, but I have to give it a 9 out of 10 because I really just didn't like how it ended. As ridiculous as that might be, that's where I'm at with it. Immediately after that book, I read another James Bond book, the only other one I own. This is License Renewed by John Gardner. Very different writing style. And I bought this from some, what's it called? Like a thrift store or something, something like that. Anyway, it smells weird. I want to say that, but very different writing style. I'll say this: the first 8 chapters of this I really enjoyed, or the first half I really enjoyed, and then I really loved the second half. This one I had a different feeling. The first 8 chapters of this book I found to be kind of a slog. But after that was fantastic. I loved the rest of this book to death. It makes me want to read more John Gardner Bond books. I'm pretty sure he wrote more Bond books than Ian Fleming, if not, equal to. It was something like that. But anyway, this one does get a bit of a lower score, probably 7.5, maybe an 8 if I'm feeling generous. I really enjoyed it after chapter 8, but I just found it was so hard to get through that beginning part. Once he gets to the castle, which is one of the main settings of the book, I really started to enjoy it. I probably should have talked more about the actual story of this, but it's with all Bond books, it's going to be kind of the same. There's an evil villain plot. Bond stumbles himself into that story. Sometimes it's by order of MI6. Sometimes he finds it on his own, and sometimes it's a mix of both. Sometimes a case given to him by MI6 develops into something more personal. This one was a very personal story. This one really wasn't. This one was very much just he was given orders. The whole, a big part of the beginning was, the debriefing section and him figuring out what he's going to be doing for the rest of the book. I didn't mind those parts. It was just the early mission parts when he first leaves MI6 to get started. I found it was kind of just weird. This is even arguably more dated than this one. It feels like this one was written in the 70s, and it feels like it. A lot of dated terminology. They say gee whiz a lot in this damn book. which was just really weird. But for the most part, I remember chapter 8 through 23. I really did like it. They had some really good moments. This first chapter was very good. Like, it's very short, very, very short, but I enjoyed it. I have read this, or like I've read a few chapters of this book on this channel already, and I decided to just read it on my own because I was getting bored with it, but I wanted to read it. I'm glad I read it outside of the channel, because I don't know if I would have sat through a whole thing of reading it out loud. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot less doing that, to be just completely frank. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is the last Bond book I've read so far. I want to get more, but they are not cheap books. So I'm just going to have to find them at an antique mall or something, like I found this one for 99 cents. But anyway, I'll put them in the back corner over here, and then I'll show all the books later. After this, I read 3 sets of manga. I say 3 sets, they're all Blue Giant, but it was all the ones that I got for Christmas for my fiance. So volumes 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. 9 and 10 are extremely expensive for some reason. They're also the last ones of this series. So this was a fantastic read. After 3 and 4, they got really funny, kind of out of nowhere. It was like it was aging with the character. As he got older, became a teenager, he just became funnier, it felt like. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about these because I did talk about them in the series a bit on the channel already whenever I received these for Christmas. So if you're interested, you can go watch my Christmas haul from 2025. But I'll say this, I love Blue Giant. I have played the saxophone. I still would like to continue playing the saxophone, and the only thing that has stopped me is really money. I don't have the space. I need to have it repaired, or I need to learn how to do it myself. And I would like to play the Barry sax, but I do not own one of those. I just have my alto saxophone from when I was in middle school. So anyway, that's a whole long story. This was fun to read, made me really want to get back into music, and I did. I've been really back into the saxophone, listening to it and going to shows. Wanted to practice. Give me 1 minute. People are yelling outside. Yeah, they're not going to be quiet, so hopefully it's just not too loud. Yeah, I enjoyed Blue Giant. Not going to spend too much more time on that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a video in the future. But from there, I then read, and I've owned this for years, I read the Star Wars trilogy. This is the original trilogy. I love the art on this. Unfortunately, reading it has... Damn. You're yelling loud. Goodness. I thought we got away from this, but never did. Never will. This is Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Some stuff that was fun about this is that there's a lot of concepts in here that were not adapted into the movie. Things that were changed, so the way some characters are described doesn't really match how they ended up looking. And I have to say, so the first one was written by George Lucas. Does it say in the back? It does not. But this is considered a special anniversary edition, and I will say this. I'll tell you the authors in a minute, but this has gone up $2. I saw it at Barnes & Noble, and it's now $11.99. So, not saying that it's not worth $11, but, or $12, but, alright. Oh my goodness. So, Star Wars, A New Hope, which is what it got renamed into, was written by George Lucas. Empire Strikes Back, novelization by Donald F. Glut, based on the story by George Lucas. I'm having trouble getting to it. page at a time until we get to it. This is a weird angle to do it. I'm trying not to damage the spine either. Oh my goodness, I don't remember that chapter being that long. Alright. And then The Novelization of Return of the Jedi is by James Caan. And of course everything else. Story by George Lucas and screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas, I don't know. Anyway, I love the original trilogy. This was an incredibly fun read. I did find myself hammering through this. It's pretty much 3 books, which is why it took me a little bit longer to read than the rest, but I did really enjoy it. If you like, oh my god, right there. I hope you guys are embarrassed of me, because that was ridiculously stupid. Anyway, yeah, the most interesting to read, in my opinion, was Star Wars. The first one, which, again, A New Hope is just what I'm going to call it. Make it easier, but yeah, I felt like that was the most interesting because it was the most different from the movie. I feel like they added a lot to the story here, a lot of depth to Luke's character. And of course, you get Biggs Darklighter and, of course, Wedge at the end. But Biggs had a little bit more here to do than he did in the movie. So yeah, there's a lot to it. I found that the dog fights, when they're in the X-Wings, was very fun and very well written. It makes me want to go read the X-Wing series. I haven't read those ever, but I found that the way it was written was very fun. So I'm probably going to get into more Star Wars books at some point. I'm not going to... rating this as one whole book, I think it was absolutely worth it. It's probably 9.5 out of 10. I'm only saying it's not 10 because it's kind of long. And I just try not to be biased, but it is really good. It's a very good interpretation of Star Wars, the original trilogy, and I would like a prequels one like it as well. If it exists, I'll have to go find it. I haven't seen it in person, but anyway, really like this. The books individually, A New Hope, I'd probably give 9 out of 10. Probably give it the highest, 9.5, and then Empire was really fun to read. I'd probably give that a 9.5 as well. Return of the Jedi was alright. It's one of my favorite movies, but I found that the way it was written wasn't. They chose to focus on some really weird moments, like for 2 pages of describing the depth and darkness of space and stuff like that, which was alright, but I found like there were characters and moments which could have used more attention that just other random things were given way too much attention for. So anyway, probably give it 7.5 out of, or 8 more than likely, probably an 8, because it was not bad. 8.5, I'm going to keep putting it up. So anyway, really liked that. Now, what's really had me excited, and this isn't exactly like a brand new series or something, it's new to me, but I've seen it at Barnes & Noble for years, and that is the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Again, not new. People have known about this book series for a while. They have another book coming out in a month. And I can officially say that I have read the first 2. The other one is back there. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Denneman. I don't know. This is about Carl. It's pretty much post-apocalyptic. So, long story short, aliens exist, other worlds exist that are fully populated by humans and other animals and creatures and stuff. They get into that. And pretty much the people who were in control of the world decided to not submit to them, not become a part of their system. So now they are forced to play this game where everything on Earth that has an interior, walls, roof, whatnot, it was kind of sucked to the core of the Earth to turn into a dungeon puzzle. And those who survived that purge, who were not inside a building or in a car or underneath a bridge or something, they lived. And they were given the option to try to survive on the surface of the planet with whatever was left, or go into the depths. Some stairwells would appear that brought you down into the dungeon, and you could play their game. A lot of it reminded me of a weird version of Hunger Games. There's a lot more pop culture references here. They referenced Bond twice in this first book, I'm pretty sure, maybe even more. And I found myself really enjoying it. There's different levels to the dungeon, obviously, and the further in you go, the more difficult and dangerous it gets. and it's very video gamified on purpose. Like there's level systems and skills and items you equip and things you can unlock and earn, and there's a lot of achievements and loot boxes, and the first 10 chapters are devoted to learning how the game AI and tutorial system would work. And I found it very much a fun read, very funny. I loved it. Where I think it could have been boring in some areas, like great, we're learning about a tutorial and how the system UI works, that could be boring. It was not boring. It's very well written, and I very much enjoyed it. This, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Again, no, you know what? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I really loved this read. It was very fun, and it made me want to immediately start the second one, which I have right here. This is Carl's Doomsday Scenario. I'm borrowing this one, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much. This is borrowed from a family member. I really enjoyed it. It's a bit shorter. I enjoyed the first one a little bit more, but I think this one did a fantastic job of developing the main two characters, which I didn't even say it, is Carl and Princess Donut, a talking cat. The cat doesn't talk before, but when they entered the dungeon, they were given some legendary items, and when she ate this enhanced pet biscuit or whatever it is, it allowed her to talk, and her intelligence and wisdom started to grow. She was able to communicate with Carl, and they've been working as a team to survive. Again, very funny. I found that this one was there was less of a focus on humor in this one. Like, there were funny moments, but it was mostly like trying to focus on their relationship and stuff like that. And I just found that the first one made more of an attempt to be funny. Not that that did either one of them a disservice, but just something I noticed when I was reading them. I would probably give the second one I'd give the second one a 9 out of 10. This one a 10 out of 10. So 10 and 9. Hopefully they keep getting better, but I'm very, very excited to see where it goes. And that is the last book I've read so far. I'm working on Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring now. I would like to get more of these, but that, I don't have the money to just go buy books right now. So, for right now, this is what I have, and I'm going to be reading everything that I own. And then eventually I'll hit a point where I can go buy the third one of these. I'd like to catch up to book 8, I think is what's coming out, before it comes out next month, but we will just have to see. So let me go ahead and zoom out, get everything stacked up, and I will let you guys head on out of here. Give me just one moment. Well, I just wanted you guys to see everything put out here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, technically 8 books. In my head, I count these as one because I was able to read pretty much 2 in a day. They're manga, they're not novels. So counting these as 1, and this is 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still 8 books. So nice there. I'm pretty proud of myself for reading that much. I know it's not a lot, but with my track record, I don't usually end up reading that much, let alone 8 in 4 months since the year started. So we'll see where things keep going. Hopefully I've read more by the end of the year, and I will be able to do some more of these videos throughout. And yeah, I'll keep you all updated. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Alrighty, goodbye everyone. Goodbye.